before I say how I arrived at Saudi, there are a few things I realized. First of all, you do not need to pay any money to go to Saudi Arabia. I don't know, it was just a con. It's just a person taking advantage of me. And also, honestly, if that money was not paid, I probably would not have made that decision to go. Because remember, I was telling you I was feeling like a burden. Upper 20k ishapeanwa. Already nasikia niko mzigo, so niko like 20k haiwezi potelea. Can you imagine? I made a decision to go to hell because of 20k. Take care, guys. May God help you wherever you are today to value yourself. May God help you to listen to your intuition and say a no when you need it said. May just God help you. Anywho, so the wait to fly out was really long. I remember that particular time before I was told I could finally fly out. Nairobi was locked down. It was the time for Corona. It was like God still was telling me, God, what are you thinking? Stay home, do something, think out of the box. I provide right where you are. Oh, maybe I just needed to go there. So I told you, once I decide on something, I don't back down. So I was determined to go. I had really made up my mind. Every day I would go into Facebook, see weird stories, see people coming back in boxes here, in coffins, and I was there saying, naenda. So Nairobi melokiwa down and still ndio mimi huyo nangangana napanda mat, naenda. So nimeonyeshwa place ya kulala, guys. Those girls live not very well. Place kuna bed bugs. The food you eat, where I remember a place where even getting 3 meals a day, where as you wait for your flight to come, was a problem. They used to make food a big deal. So girls would just stay there without food. Na mkikula vizuri inakuwa issue. I just remember I was like, just God, please, can I just leave this place and fly out? So he had my prayers, sikukaa sana, and I thank my dad. When I was leaving, I don't like, mi sipendi kufanya vitu na siri. I remember my mom telling me as we were planning this, do not tell your dad about going to Saudi Arabia. Unajua yeye huongea vitu negative, anaweza affect matokeo ya kwenda. But this thing took 3 months preparation. So I would go to Nairobi very often. And I remember even some days my dad would carry me. And remember this time I was overthinking this whole process. So my body was reacting. I remember my legs used to swell all the time and I was wondering, sasa naenda kwenye watu waangaliangu wachungangu na bado hata mwili haiko sawa. Should I go? Should I not go? I went to the hosi, wakatest kila kitu, nikaambiwa niko sawa. I think it was just stress. So with that, nikiambiwa niko sawa, nikatosheka na miguu ikaanza kutulia. So I remember one day when Dad was taking me to Nairobi, I was like, Dad, I made a decision to go be a housemaid in Saudi. He said, okay, if that's what you have decided, then go and see how it goes. So everybody, I don't know, none of my family really, sometimes as I sit here and I get the courage to give this story, I keep wondering, yani hakuna mtu wa familia angeniambia mtoto wetu vile vitu tunaonanga huko usiende. So sometimes one of the things I'm struggling with as I deal with a lot of changes, a lot of stress of life, my life is not the same. Like before I left to Saudi, when I came back, I came a different person. As I deal with these stresses, my relationship with my family is strained. Because sometimes I feel like a Joseph. Most time I feel like a Joseph who was sacrificed into slavery And you all can go to the book and read. I don't know how Joseph reacted to being sold into slavery. That's how I feel sometimes, and I tell them all the time. So my relationship with my family is strained. Anyway, so the day comes. I remember I used to go to the agent's office and make a lot of noise because the living conditions where we are waiting are not very good. So finally, I was given a ticket. My plane ticket was ready, and I had a day to go. I was nervous. But hey, I remember the feeling of being on a plane for the first time. Damn, it was nice. I had always dreamt about seeing a plane take off. I still have the video of the plane taking off. It was the most wonderful feeling. So I am not all negative. I flew out. And as things were escalating, as I look back, maybe I would have died without ever boarding a plane. I'm feeling like I'm living, this is an afterlife for me, the way I'm living right now. Because the whole Saudi experience, I think there's a time that I died actually. And I keep telling my people this, and they say, you didn't die. Like, there are times I've died and it's not once or twice, and it is a terrible feeling. So every day I'm trying to release the trauma of dying. And although this has shown me that God exists, because who else can take your life? I was not sick. I'm just here doing my own things, and you feel weak. And you feel things happening and you see yourself in another space. Well, definitely God is there, and I have a struggle with my relationship with God because I'm imagining someone who has a control, who has a remote control, who can control, ping, it's your time, ping, it's not your time. How do things go so wrong in this place? How are there rapists? How are there thieves? Why are there people who wanatuoneanga kila siku and you see them just prospering every day? So I had so many questions. So it's like, if this is God, because it's only God who can take your life. So I'm like, I have questions. I have still not got a place to ask them, but this is life. This is life, and there's a way life happens. It is challenging, and you have to go through these challenges. Yeah, but it left me with a lot of questions. So I fly. Oh, it is nice. I take some... Guys, as I was saying, distractions. These people from Saudi don't want me to give this story. Anyway, they're always watching from wherever they are. And I told you it's a weird place, my girls. Again, I'll keep giving this message. If you're a girl out there and you meet my video and you are considering Saudi Arabia is coming as a consideration for you, kindly reject it. Reject it. I don't know what is making you that hopeless. Things can work out. Today it's tough, tomorrow it will be well. Today you can start selling something small, tomorrow you'll own a bigger business. So don't be hopeless. Lift yourself up, and don't go to a place that can make you mad, or you can come back in a coffin, or you come back and your life is complete confusion. You don't know what is not. So don't go there, girls. Don't go there. It is tricky, it is risky. That is my advice. Anyway, I'm on a plane. The food is nice, the girls were nice. I told you I made some friends. We talked, we had exchanged numbers, we had promised to keep tabs on each other once to make sure everyone was safe. I would remember when in the office I was told that there is no taking of alcoholic drinks. Those people will know. But they know. I know they're still watching me even back home, because I told you that place, it's a spiritual place. It's a place that they see you, they know you from childhood. So, and when you land there is a craze about girls being hacked all over the internet. You feel hacked because these people are telling you things that only a person who knows you very well in private can know those things. That's why you feel hacked. Nobody's hacking you, they just know you. They're just not your everyday person. Anyway, before I dissect that, so me or more, you tell me don't, I do, because I'm wondering, why are you saying don't? I'm not very good with Sharias, but most Sharias, but anyone who knows me knows I'm a law abiding. If I came back from that place whole, although I have struggled for 2 years, well, I've what a Sharias. I'm a good citizenry of here. So anyway, I decide, what is wrong with having some wine on your first flight ever? Me, I asked for a glass of wine. I think I had two. It was wonderful. My plane was first landing in Qatar. Then after Qatar, we would go to Dammam. That's where my sponsor was to pick me. We were given contracts. I remember we were told you're going to be paid 30K. You're told that roughly in the office to hike you up. They tell you not be buying anything for yourself. Your 30K yote ni yako. You just save and come back with your money. So that's okay. For a person who is in a bad space, because I was in a bad space and I was thinking about how to take myself from the bad space, it was a good deal. If you do 30K untouched for 2 years, that is good money. So anyway, the flight is long. It was a 5 hours flight. We alight at Qatar. We stayed there like for 3 hours. And then we board a plane at around, from Qatar to Dammam, which was about 30 minutes. So I think we boarded the plane at around 3:34. And we arrived in Dammam at around 4:35. My guys, I was still struggling with the thing about, when all of us are flying girls who are going to work as maids, you're given some kind of uniform. You either have t-shirts or full-blown uniform. So I was given a t-shirt. It was still disturbing me, my guys. I was like, oh, I want to feel like a tourist. So I had worn the t-shirt and then put another one of my own personal on top, just to feel like I was not going to be a maid. It was still a thought I was struggling a lot with. So anyway, tumechukua bag zetu, we place ourselves as tumejikusanya kama housemaids. Hatujui chenye inaenda next. Tumefika ndio sisi hawana mabag zetu. So we don't even know what to do. We don't know even what to go. So we are just following people as we go through the exit of the plane. Kufika mahali karibu na uko mbele, an Arab woman in full hijab was waiting for us and grouping us, taking our passports and grouping us accordingly. I think the t-shirts were written according to different agents. You're taken to different agents, take you to different places. Hey, so wamo na ka t-shirt kangu hivyo ninaona maybe atafikiria mimi ni maid. Kwanza watakaka alini grab akainua hiyo tisho hivi na nikawekwa kando, my friend. Nikasema oh God, may your grace be sufficient. Mimi ni maid. Even as I'm telling you this story, my heart is still heavy from, I don't know where I ever made that decision. I regret it a lot. Anyway, this is life. This is life, this is life, this is life. So we continue. So nimewekwa kando, nimeinuliwa kitishati yangu, hata nikatoa ile yangu nikaamua ni maid, wacha niweke hii t-shirt yangu kando, acha ni accept. So ni 5:30 sasa. Wase wameanza kuchukuliwa. People, their agents came pick them up. All my friends were taken. Mimi nikabaki hapo. 5:30 kagonga. My friends, ndio hiyo 3 hours bado niko kwa airport. Ule mama mwenye hata alikuwa na to give direction ashaenda. Namuuliza agent wangu, anasema hata hasijui ya pick simu. I started fearing, like, number one, I was curious. Do you even die by stepping in Saudi Arabia alone? Saudi Arabia to me feels like death. And it is not a joke. You see all those stories coming back to us. You see how guys come back. It is fair to feel that way. And that's how those Arabs want you to feel. They want you to feel fearful of them. They don't want you to go with jokes in that place. That's why they keep doing that bad, terrible thing, so that it is not a place of joke. So they know what they are doing. They are not even hawapunguzi hiyo. So it is like a message every day telling you, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? And if you ever think of coming to a place, can you come slow? This is, so nilikuwa natetemeka. I was worried. Passport yangu ishachukuliwa, hata sijui iko wapi. The good thing is, the people that were around, the airport attendants at the reception were still there, so I was afraid. Time ilikuwa inasonga, watu wa shift. Sikuwa najua kama kuna mtu anajua English. Namba yenye nilipewa ni communicate na sponsor wangu, hata haina WhatsApp. Airport yenyewe haikuwa na wifi. Me started worrying. Nikashangaa, oi Mungu Baba, so many things, distractions. So many things in my life always feel like I'm unlucky. And I even remember a family member one day, we were sitting somewhere and I was just trying to remove my heaviness. And I remember just recalling the things that had not worked out. And I remember that family member just saying, "You're unlucky." Straight face, full. So I think that stuck. I started feeling unlucky all over again. So I'm like, we were about 50 girls, 50 to 30 girls. Everyone had left. They were picked swiftly and promptly by their sponsors. Miniko hapo. Imagine from 5:30. Hey. So I don't know what to do. I had to think. I had to make my anxiety calm down. So I tried to speak to one of the airport attendants. Now, I even didn't know if they knew English, so I'm trying. So I'm like, "Hey, hello, do you speak English?" And luckily they were speaking English. So at first I asked, "Is my passport safe?" He assured me it was a young man, a very handsome Arab man. So I was like, "Is my passport safe?" And he was like, "Yeah, it is safe." I'm like, "How do you help me?" Because the other woman who was helping other girls didn't give me any feedback. I am not seeing my sponsor. It has been almost 3 hours later. There is no Wi-Fi in the airport. So how do I communicate with my sponsor? I remember he sent me to a place, a shop there. There was a black person. And I was like, "Oh, a black person. Maybe he's from Africa. Maybe he knows English." So I went to borrow some internet. They are black Arabs in Saudi Arabia. He totally didn't understand English. So I said Wi-Fi. I used all my sign language. Finally he understood and he connected me to Wi-Fi. The number I was given to call my sponsor had no WhatsApp. So I had to go back to the airport receptionist and tell him, "Hey, please, how can you help me? Because my sponsor's number does not have a WhatsApp. So there's no way, I don't have a card from here. There's no way I could call." So I asked him to kindly make a call for me. So he called and he told me to be calm. My sponsor was still coming. Guys, I stayed for long. I was hungry. It was a long, extra long wait. I was nervous. I was fearful. My fear started kicking in. So this handsome man comes and he told me, "Oh, just be sure your sponsor is coming." I talked to him. I'm finishing my shift. He had perfect English. I was like, "Oh, thank God." I'm finishing and God bless him. He's one of the kindest people I met. I'm finishing my shift. So, can I buy you something? I was afraid. So I just asked for some water, and that airport was cold. I don't know, that whole journey was so cold. I was just feeling cold everywhere. It was so cold, I was shivering. Thank God I had carried a blanket from the airport. It was helping me a lot, and I had a sweater on. So I'll just sit there. Couples would come with a child, and they would look like they were coming towards me, like they were joking. It was like a whole joke process. And then they would leave. It was like, okay, not the ones. I kept waiting. People coming towards me, not the one. I gave up. I slept. My guy has left. I have hugged. He even hugged me. I was like, I needed a hug, yo. I was stressed out. So just a fair warning, no matter what happens to you, do not hug an Arab. You need to know the rules of going to these Arab countries. They are very strict and they know what they're doing. Please just don't go there. And if you have to go, I'm telling you, the first rule, don't hug an Arab, no matter how distressed you are. Because I realized that was my first mistake. Anyway, so I have given up. I even go to the loo to pee. When I'm there, finally someone calls and a woman comes and speaks in English. So she's like, hey, your sponsor is looking for you. And I'm like, oh, finally. I said that out loud. And she was like, she gave me the looks of like, who the hell do you think you are? And I was like, okay, fine, thank you. I left. I went to meet my sponsor. Man, that man was done. I was like, holy mother of God, I hope I'll be able to survive in this home. Anyway, I asked him, I was still worried about my passport. So I'm like, hey, do you have my passport? He showed me. Yeah, it is. Yes, I do. So I'm like, that man takes me round and round the airport, up and down the airport. I'm tired. I'm with my bag. I'm worried. I'm hungry this time now. So I'm like, we reach a point and I'm like, can I just sit here and you finish what you're doing? And after you are done, please, sir, then you can tell me to come and finish. Because now I thought he was looking for a flight for me to go. Because I knew the place I was going was not Dammam. It was another place, and I had read by bus it would take like 6 hours. My guys, I think that guy was going to book me a flight, but when I sat down, I think he changed his mind. So he told me to follow him back down with my bags. He boarded, he took me to his vehicle. I still don't know where we are going. The guy still, I thought he was flirting my guys. So he kept talking to me in a weird way, bringing his face into mine, and I was like, hey, sir, yes, how can I help you? He was very friendly. I even took his number and saved it as a sponsor's friend. And I was like, yo, my first assignment was done. Men are men everywhere, whether it's an Arab or an African. They just have to be cheeky and weird. So that is something I told you I had to go to find out. Because he was acting in a way that made me believe like it was kind of a flirt, but I didn't give it much thought. I knew where I was not going to flirt. So anyway, we arrive at a bus station. That's what I realized. He tells me to pick some food. I still don't know where I'm going. I pick some snacks because in my mind, it is going to be a 6-hour thing. So I just pick a few things and I didn't understand them all. They were just things that looked like I would be able to eat them. And wait, my guys, again at the bus station, I waited. I started to get nervous again. It was cold because they had their air conditioners and they had set it in very low, in a very cool temperatures. So I was thinking maybe they don't like their women feeling any kind of warmth. That was my thought because I was shivering. I remember a woman telling me maybe your sponsor changed their mind, and I'm like, no way. I had read those people spend quite a fortune for you to travel there. So I was like, there's no way he changed his mind after spending all that money. But actually, the longer I waited, the more it felt like he had changed his mind. But finally, the bus ride. To make this episode not so long, let's finish there. Stay tuned. This is my Saudi story. I hope as someone listens as I share it, because I have learned so much from girls who went there, I hope they also get something.